live with the former U.S. ambassador to Canada and co-founder of Uncharted, Bruce Heyman. Bruce, so glad you're here this morning to sort of give us your thoughts. It's still early. We don't have sort of, confirmed results at this point in terms of the overall result, but what are you taking from what you've seen in the results so far from these midterms?
Good news for democracy, good news for women and their right to choose, good news for Canada, I think, especially since Donald Trump was the big loser last night, and many of his MAGA supporting, disciples had fallen in this last 24 hours. Still, as you mentioned, the House and the Senate have not been decided yet, but it's going to be much closer. Typical midterms like this, on average since World War II, you lose about 28 seats in the House and 4 seats in the Senate, and it's not going to come anything close to that.
And Bruce, let's focus on one of the big flips from the midterms is Pennsylvania. John Fetterman defeating the other candidate there, Dr. Mehmet Oz. What does that signal to you? Is it because his campaign kind of ran on this guy who appeals to, the working class who don't have university degrees, and it's a signal of where the Democrat strategy is going?
I think it's really important, both short-term and longer-term. Longer-term meaning the next couple of years, 2024. Pennsylvania is an incredible swing state and one that Democrats need to win in 24 to keep the presidency. What it says today is that people are coming out to vote for the issues that are longer term rather than the shorter term issues that they're facing. And don't underestimate those issues like inflation and crime, but longer term, the protection of democracy, a women's right to choose, fair treatment of people of all different backgrounds, races, religions, and sexual orientation. Students, young people turned out, many of these college towns, we've really seen a turnout that we haven't seen in a long time. That's a big story that's going to come out over the last 24 hours. It's
also interesting, though, isn't it, Bruce, that, generally speaking, when you're in an inflationary period like this where people are concerned about, basically the bottom line, are they going to be able to make it through the next 2 or 3 months? That's generally not good for a sort of ruling/governing party, however you want to describe that. But it seems at this point that the Democrats maybe have kind of slipped one through here in terms of, hanging on to a little bit based on the fundamentals of the economy.
We do have to remember we're at 3.7% unemployment. So people are working. Yes, they're impacted by inflation. And I think that people are getting to understand, and you should understand in Canada as well as in the US and elsewhere, the inflation is global. A large part of it's due to COVID and supply chains around the world being disrupted. A large part due to a war with Ukraine and Russia and energy prices increasing and food. So a large part of this are circumstances that have nothing to do with whether you're a prime minister or a president. It has to do with the global issues.
Okay, former U.S. ambassador to Canada and co-founder of Uncharted, Bruce Heyman, thank you so much for joining us this morning to talk about this.
Pleasure.
Thanks so much, Bruce. Walking among dinosaurs? Well, now you can at the Jurassic Quest experience. That sounds pretty cool.
It does. These animals, they're pretty lifelike. That's where we find Gian Lee this morning in Hamilton, chilling with, what is that, a T-Rex? No, that's a Carnotaurus. I know that because my son loves dinos. Gee, what a cool assignment.
What a cool assignment, right? Jen, I'm so impressed with your knowledge of these dinosaurs, and how cool is this? They look so real. I can't get over the sheer size and how true to life it feels. Joining me now is Brainy Beth. She's actually a dinosaur trainer. Come on in,
Hi.
Brainy Beth. How are you?
Good morning, Jane. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So how long have you been a dinosaur trainer?
Yes, so I have been a dinosaur trainer with Jurassic Quest for 3 years. And I love what I do. Jurassic Quest prides itself on education.
Yes.
So we are thrilled to be here right now educating the people of Hamilton about some of these guys that are photorealistic and to scale.
Yeah.
So we definitely work very closely with paleontologists to make sure that they're as to scale as possible.
This is the largest in North America in terms of an animatronic dinosaur exhibit. It's pretty incredible to see.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we are the largest and most time expansive we have about 165 million years worth of these guys all moving and roaring in their respective environments.
And this is the first time it's going to be in Eastern Canada, which is so cool.
That's right, yes. So we are here for the first time. We're actually moving through Mississauga and different parts of Canada in the eastern areas, and we're very thrilled.
Okay, so I know we've got the big dinosaurs here, but we've got a little tiny baby one. Who is this?
Yes, so this right here is Tina. She's a baby T-Rex. Typically at most locations you can meet one of 3 baby dinos. So we have a T-Rex, a Triceratops, and a baby Camarasaurus for you to meet and interact with and take photos with as well. You are guaranteed at your time at Jurassic Quest to see at least one of these little guys.
Oh my God, so cute. Can I, do you just
absolutely.
pet?
You
Okay.
can pet her. Just be very gentle. Use your T-Rex fingers.
Like
That's what we like
this?
to call them. Yep, just little tiny pets. Very playful and friendly though, just like a big puppy.
And so with the baby T-Rex like this, and I should hint to our audience at home, keep in mind what we're talking about here because we do have an incredible prize to give away. But with the baby T-Rex here, what would a baby like this eat, and how big will it get at some point?
Well, she is a carnivore.
Yeah.
We know that because of the shape of her teeth and the fact that in a lot of T-Rex remains that we've found, we've actually found them having eaten other dinosaurs. So for instance, Triceratopses and things like that.
Right.
So we do know that she's a carnivore, and she can get to be rather large. If you come to Jurassic Quest, you can see something that's similar to scale of what a theropod would be. They're not the largest predators though. That actually goes to Spinosaurus, right?
Right.
But it's their bite force, their sheer bite force that can get you, you know what I mean,
Yes.
basically over anything else, which is why they're still considered the kings of the dinosaurs. They can live to be about 37 years old in the wild, but in captivity we would expect probably about 60 years.
Wow. Okay, but I just like the fact that it's a little baby right now. All right. So we have an incredible giveaway this morning. So you have to tune in for all 4 segments because I'm going to give a code word each segment. And then, of course, at the end of the show, you're going to send in all 4 words for your chance to win this incredible prize. It is a pack for a family of 4 to come see one of the 5 shows that are traveling through in Eastern Canada. So you've got this location in Hamilton, you've got Mississauga, Toronto, Niagara Falls, and London. It all starts tomorrow and coming in over the next few weekends here in the GTA. So your first code word is T-Rex. Again, you'll see it on the screen. Your first code word for this incredible prize is T-Rex. It's valued at $500. So stay tuned all morning because we're going to give out more code words for this incredible prize. I'm in a safe zone here because this is a Stegosaurus. It's a herbivore, so I think I'm okay, guys. But yes, this is Jurassic Quest. We are in Hamilton, which this exhibit gets underway tomorrow and wraps up on the 13th. As you know, we have an incredible prize. We're giving away tickets for a family of 4, and this includes also unlimited rides. That's right, they have rides here, as well as merchandise and a private meet and greet. This is a value of $500. So every half hour, we are giving away a code word. You have to gather up all those 4 words, and then, of course, send them into our show at the end. So here is your code word for this half hour. It is Stegosaurus. Again, the code word is Stegosaurus. All right, I'm going to bring in Brainy Beth, our dinosaur trainer. Hi, I feel like I need a nickname too. Well, let's...
Yes, I think we've established a good one for you, I think. So it's always alliterations. I'm Brainy Beth, for instance. So Jurassic G.
Love it.
What do you think?
I love it. All right, so we've got the Stegosaurus here. Tell me a little bit more about this.
So something interesting about Stegosaurus, well, first of all, Jurassic Quest prides itself on education. So whenever you come to Jurassic Quest, you can actually ask our fossil experts questions as well whenever you're here using our 844 Dino 411 line, or you can actually speak to someone who's at the fossil table as well. A lot of us do know a lot about our dinosaurs, so I'm very glad you asked. This guy right here, Stegosaurus, was actually known for these plates on his back, right? His name means roof lizard, right? So this plates here, they're actually incredible because we've come to find that they're filled with blood vessels rather than actual bone material. Right. So whenever a T-Rex or actually not a T-Rex, he actually didn't coexist with the T-Rex, believe it or not. Whenever a predator wanted a snack, they could easily just bite one of those. and it would have been considered an easy go-to snack. So we don't think that they were for protection, as we might have speculated before. We think that they were more so for communication, so either for mating or basically anger, dominance displays, and things like that. So much like your cheeks would blush, we think that the Stegosaurus, they might change colors. And they also could be for thermal regulation as well.
Very cool. And it is a herbivore. It's a plant eater,
right.
unlike some of the other dinosaurs here.
That's correct.
I can't get over how large they get.
Yes, no, they do. We actually, to scale, here at Jurassic Quest, we do work with paleontologists to make sure that they are as up-to-date as possible. So they might not be 100% accurate because new science comes out all the time.
Yeah.
For instance, we know now that Spinosaurus walked on both or on all fours, we speculate, rather than standing upright as our Spinosaurus does. But it is new, it changes all the time, and we try to keep as up-to-date as possible with paleontologists.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And this exhibit gets underway tomorrow here in Hamilton, but you are hitting 5 locations.
Yes.
Because it's your first time in Eastern Canada.
Yes, it is our first time, and we're so excited. For any and all information about tickets and where to find them, go to JurassicQuest.ca. It's very imperative because we do migrate away very, very quickly.
Okay, so good to know. So it's hitting Hamilton this weekend. Of course, it's also going to Mississauga, Toronto, Niagara Falls, London, and our giveaway is good for any one of those 5 locations. So you definitely tune in all morning because we have 2 more code words to give away for this incredible prize. I'm loving this, and yes, thank you for that. And right now, I'm known as Jurassic G here at Jurassic Quest. You know, from the Toronto Raptor to the Utah Raptor. I'm learning so much here. And of course, we have an incredible giveaway. We are giving away tickets for a family of 4, which also includes unlimited rides, merchandise, a private meet and greet. This is valued at $500, and you can use it at any one of the 5 locations that are coming to Eastern Canada. So, a code word each half hour. This is the word for this half hour. It is Brontosaurus. Again, that is your code word, Brontosaurus, for your chance to win this incredible prize, and you can use it at any one of the 5 locations. We're talking Toronto, London, Mississauga, Niagara Falls, and of course right here in Hamilton. Brainy Beth joins me now. Good morning.
Good morning.
So nice to have you, and we're here in Jurassic Quest. Of course, we just used the code word Brontosaurus, which also leads us to our first little dinosaur here.
Right, yes. So this actually technically is not a Brontosaurus. This is a different type of sauropod, though. This is an Apatosaurus, and one of many dinosaurs that you can see at Jurassic Quest. So Apatosauruses, actually sauropods, were among the largest dinosaurs that ever actually existed. In fact, they were the largest. For instance, if you go and see one of the ones in the Natural History Museum in New York, his head fits in one room and his body fits in the other room. They weren't able to get everything in the same room.
Right.
So quite a bit of big dinosaurs, but also we have some little ones too.
Yeah, because there's a myth. You think all dinosaurs are big, but that's not necessarily true.
That's correct. In fact, these guys would have had a better chance at escaping the extinction event due to the fact that their food sources were much smaller.
Yeah.
So the modern day birds that we see today, they're actually known as avian dinosaurs. So still technically dinosaurs. So there are actually technically a lot more small dinosaurs than there were larger dinosaurs.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that this is really helpful. You have these cards here, which really not only give you a little bit of information about each dinosaur, I love the fact that it even teaches you how to pronounce it.
Yes, that's right. At Jurassic Quest, we're very big on education. So we even have a fossil table where we have some real fossils as well as casts that are museum quality. You can come and ask an expert a question about the fossils that we have there at your time during your visit here at Jurassic Quest. And you can also contact a special line, 844-DINO-411, to get some more cool facts as well if we don't have the exact facts that you need.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, we've got to talk about the Utah Raptor.
Yes.
I've noticed that the texture is different here on the Utah Raptor.
Yes, so the Utah Raptor has what we call down feathers. So basically it's feathers covering his entire body, at least in this representation. But we're actually probably about to meet a Utah Raptor that we are going to get to train, Jurassic G, just like you and your family can at Jurassic Quest whenever you come through to see us. So you can actually train a Utah Raptor for the price of general admission.
No,
So-
stop, you can?
Yes, you absolutely can.
I had no idea. Okay, so in our next half hour, we're gonna meet one.
Yes.
And you're gonna show me how to train one.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can teach you a few tricks.
Okay, okay, I had no idea.
Good.
So you don't want to miss that. And of course, in the next half hour, we will give away the final word, our final code word for this incredible prize here at Jurassic Quest. And again, for more information, just go to jurassicquest.ca. This one in Hamilton gets underway tomorrow, wraps up on Sunday. And then, of course, it's going to hit the other cities like Mississauga, London, Niagara Falls, and of course, Toronto. They look so real. It's incredible to see. This is, of course, North America's largest animatronic dinosaur exhibit. And of course, we've been featuring a bunch of dinosaurs, but I've got to say my favorite right now is the Utah Raptor, which we've got one right here. Hi, Rainey Beth joins me now, and this is a Utah Raptor.
Yes, this is Jojo, the Utah Raptor. And by the way, if you come to Jurassic Quest, one of our favorite things for the price of general admission. Okay, so we've got lots of activities to do for the upgraded tickets, right? So for instance, you can even ride dinosaurs here at Jurassic Quest. But if you just come through the door here at Jurassic Quest, you are guaranteed to be able to train one of these Utah Raptors, right?
Really?
Either Jojo or her brother Diego, right?
Okay, so show us a few little tricks with Jojo here.
Perfect. Okay, so if you'd like to learn how to become a dinosaur trainer,
Yes.
All right, it's very important that we go over the first one. We have to work together as a team.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna put our pointer fingers in the air. Can you do that, Jean?
Yep.
And say, "Turn, Jojo, turn."
Turn, Jojo, turn.
Turn,
You got
Jojo,
it.
turn. Good job, girl. All right, that's an amazing. All right, great
Okay,
job.
thank
First
you.
one out of the park. Okay, so we're gonna point our fingers down on the ground and
Yep.
say, "Sit, Jojo, sit."
Sit, Jojo. Sit.
Sit,
Come on,
Jojo,
you can
sit.
do it,
Come
Jojo.
on. All right,
Yes.
good job. All right, and then we can say stand.
Stand.
And get her back up. Stand up.
Stand.
Stand up. Oh, good
Yay.
job, girl. Okay, and then this one's my favorite. Okay, and it's pretty silly, so get ready.
Okay.
All right, on three, we're gonna say, "Jojo, shake your tail feathers."
Jojo, shake your tail feathers. Shake, shake, shake
Yeah,
those tail feathers.
look at that. All right, good job,
Way to
Jojo.
go, Jojo. I wish I had some food for Jojo.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, honestly, she eats a lot of meat.
Okay.
And we actually we do feed these guys pretty often. But whenever you come to Jurassic Quest, you
Yes.
can take part in training them. You can also learn some really cool facts about them, right? So she is a carnivore. We know that by her massive teeth, right?
Yeah.
And then she's a juvenile still, but her claws on her fingers can get to be about 10 inches in length.
Wow.
So you do not want to mess with her. You know what I'm saying?
And then again, I'm amazed that the Utah Raptor actually has feathers. I didn't know that.
Yes, that's right. So the feathers on her arms there, we think much like an ostrich, would help her to turn sharp corners really fast, right? And then basically it gives her more aerodynamic,
Right.
sort of like a slipstream effect for whenever she's catching prey. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay, and so this is the first time you guys are coming to Eastern Canada.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So we're super excited to be here. We are thrilled actually to be coming to different destinations in Eastern Canada. All of our information though is going to be on our website at
Yes.
jurassicquest.ca, and it's very important that you get tickets really, really fast because
Yes.
they do go extinct
Oh,
very quickly.
So get your tickets
So,
fast. Okay,
yes.
thank you so much. And guys, we have an incredible giveaway. We're giving tickets for a family of 4, plus that includes unlimited rides, merchandise, a private meet and greet, and you can use that at any one of the 5 locations here in Eastern Canada. This exhibit is coming to Hamilton, which starts tomorrow. It's also coming to Mississauga, Niagara Falls, London, and of course Toronto. So you can use that prize anywhere in those 5 stops. All right, your final word this half hour is Triceratops. Again, Triceratops. So what you want to do is you want to go to that QR code that you see on the screen there, or go to our website, cp24.com/contest, and punch in all 4 code words. Okay, this is a value of $500. You're gonna have so much fun at Jurassic Quest. Thank you so much, Brainy Beth. Thank you so much, Utah Raptor. Jojo, thank you so much.
You know, it is that time of year. The holiday season's fast approaching, and of course, that means many people are opening up their wallets, if you still carry one. But of course, with high inflation and tight household budgets, keeping a close eye on your spending is key.
So, principal and founder of Rubach Wealth, LK Rubach, joins us live now with some tips on how to manage your holiday spending. So, LK, what's the single most important part of holiday budgeting?
Well, honestly, keep it simple. And you were talking about organization and so on. The same thing applies for finances. Keep it simple, dial it back, understand that, I mean, in fairness, not everyone will be affected the same way. Inflation, interest rate hikes, etc. Those are here, and they don't affect every Canadian the same way. But every Canadian, it doesn't matter how affluent you are, you need to dial it back, simplify. And remember that the holidays is not just about buying, and we need to cut back on the madness of shopping. If COVID didn't teach us that we really need a lot less than what we want, I don't know what needs to happen for people to understand that it's best to not go out and buy stuff, because the remorse in January is not worth the crazy frenzy shopping.
Yeah, we learned a lot of sort of public health lessons during COVID, but we also learned some financial health lessons, just like you said there, LK. And that's a really good point there, because, of course, the thing is, though, you know, the holidays, it's really kind of not a time when most people do actually show financial restraint. You kind of get caught up in it. There's the social pressures, that kind of thing. So when it comes to your actual financial limits and situation, how important is honesty in all of this sort of big picture?
Well, if you're lying to yourself, that's a bad starting point. You have to be honest. You need to understand your spending, not just your Christmas or holiday spending. It's what is important that you need to afford. What is the non-discretionary spend in your lifestyle? After that, you know, that's rent, healthcare, you know, the basics, you know, as stuff for kids for school. Those things you can't really bypass, but that extra purse, that extra toy, that extra stuffing that goes into the sock, do you really need it? Or is that something that you're just buying to make more bulk, you know, in the gift situation, and then it's going to go in the garbage. So don't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not good for the environment, the packaging, the plastic, the toys. So for parents, you know, like Nick and I, we have young kids, and holiday is all about making them happy. And of course, you know, they're probably a little spoiled, used to getting multiple toys. How do we talk to young children, teens, kids, about the fact that we're trying to save and they can't get everything they want this holiday season?
Well, here's the thing. It's again, dialing back. Actually, taking advantage of Financial Literacy Month. There is no financial literacy in schools. So this is the best opportunity you have to talk to your kids about it and say, hi, guys, you've been listening to the news and they're talking about inflation. Let me tell you what this means. Our money can buy less. Okay, so for this holiday season, let's pick 1, 2, or 3, or depending on what your capacity is, so you have to do the exercise first. What are the things that you really, really, really want? And if they're a bigger price tag, well, maybe you do it as a gift exchange and you chip in and you make it a fun adventure and you involve the grandparents. There's zero benefit in adding junk, because we all know that at the end of the day, kids end up playing with pots and pans, and they love the boxes. So we know it, yet we do it. So let's take this opportunity to give them the best gift of financial literacy, the importance of budgeting, the importance of keeping it simple.
Yeah, that's the gift.
It's life-changing.
Yeah, it keeps on giving throughout your lifetime, that's for sure. LK Rubach, really appreciate the tips this morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, welcome back. It's Monday, which means it's time to round up today's top stories in the world of science with CTV science and tech expert Dan Riskin. Dan, great to see you again. Let's get into this. The last total lunar eclipse for the next 3 years will be visible across the country this week. And we are talking blood moons, perhaps beaver moons, all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, so if it's a full moon in November, it's called the beaver moon, because historically that's when people collected a lot of beaver pelts to keep them warm through the winter. So the November full moon is the beaver moon. This is a full lunar eclipse, so the moon turns red, so it's called a blood moon. So it's a blood beaver moon if you want to be fancy-dancy and farmer's almanac-y about it. But all you need to know is get up a little early tomorrow. Between 5:16 and 6:41 is when the moon will be totally eclipsed, totally red, as long as there's a break break in the clouds. You'll be able to see this from anywhere in Toronto. You don't need to get out of the city to see this. Just look for the moon. And, 85 minutes of total eclipse. So this is, there's no reason not to do this, especially if you have kids. Goodness knows they're not in school right now. So you can find something educational to do and teach them about eclipses.
Oh, that is so cool. We'll have to sneak outside of the studio and get a peek of that from our parking lot.
Yeah.
But hey, at least the light pollution isn't affecting that. All right. And this next thing's interesting. Do dogs experience the world the way we do?
I like this. They put some dogs in a brain scanner to see how their brains light up when they see movies. They recorded these movies taken from the perspective of a dog like this, low to the ground, with dogs running around and balls and all the things a dog would see. And when they played the movie, they scanned the brains of the dog. Now, this is something that's been done for humans many times, and using machine learning, you can get a sense of what the person is seeing and not only what object the person is seeing, but what activity is happening in the movie. The brains light up differently for running versus swimming versus sitting, things like that. When you scan a dog, it turns out that the information about what object they're seeing isn't really present. It's just about the activity. And so this really fits into the idea that a dog is really living in the moment and is really just like, I'm chasing a ball, but I don't care if it's a ball or a duck or, a cat. I'm just chasing. So they're not so obsessed about what the object is, but they are very in tune to what the activity in the movie is.
Wow, that is so cool. GoPro for dogs. Okay, last minute, we're going to talk about this. Scientific study shows how much traffic actually increases when e-bikes and e-scooters are banned.
Yeah, so this is a big thing in Toronto, right? A lot of conversations about these e-bikes and about scooters and different ways that people are getting around. Do they really reduce traffic? A natural experiment in Atlanta, Georgia, where they banned e-scooters at night for a period of time, allowed people to measure how bad traffic was while there were scooters on the road, and then when scooters were taken off the road. And what they found was when scooters are available, it's easier for cars to get around. A commute time in an Uber goes down by about 10%. If there are e-scooters around. And if there's a big event like a concert, commute times go down 37%. So those e-scooters, even though you're sitting in your car swearing at them because they're cutting in front of you and all that stuff, just remember they are making your commute shorter. They are helping get some of the cars off the road, and it does measurably make traffic better. They're your friend, kind of like spiders that eat the rest of the insects in the house. They are the spiders of traffic. That's exactly it.
Okay, thank you so much. Interesting stuff. CTV science and tech expert Dan Riskin will chat with you next week. Take care. Welcome back. There are more than 2,700 Indigenous members serving in the Canadian Armed Forces. Indigenous peoples have been part of the country's military history for more than 200 years, serving in the First and Second World Wars, the Korean War, and peacekeeping missions under the UN.
Joining us right now is Brian Black, a veteran of the Canadian Navy and Métis Nation of Ontario, Director of Self-Government Strategy. Brian, we're so glad you're joining us here on Remembrance Day. Thank you so much for not only your sacrifices, but for your time this morning. Let's talk about the importance of recognizing the contribution of Métis and Indigenous soldiers and what they've done to help this country.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, back in 1994 is when Canada first started looking at the actual separate acknowledgement of Indigenous veterans with our Indigenous Veterans Day on which we had earlier this week. Mm-hmm. And what that does is it just really acknowledges the contributions that Indigenous veterans have been giving Canada since, I would say, even before Canada was Canada, in battling in the War of 1812, the Boer Wars. And then when you get into World War I, World War II, and the Korean War, when Canada rang the bell, Indigenous peoples came and in force and served with distinction in protecting our country.
Mm-hmm. Brian, we just spoke earlier with a historian named Kathy Grant who talked about the experience of Black veterans who served in the Canadian Armed Forces. I'm wondering what the climate was like for Indigenous soldiers. Was there any kind of segregation or racism, or was this a sense that we were fighting a common enemy and therefore everyone on the battlefield, all the soldiers were all equal, we're all brothers? What was that climate like?
There wasn't as big as a stigma at that other colored fighters might have seen, but in the First World War, Indigenous peoples weren't really brought into the service as quickly. They sort of were a second thought to bring in. But after they had seen some of the Indigenous veterans come to war and to see how they were great marksmen. They were absolutely perfect in their concealment and their camouflage, and that they used those tools in a very fearless manner and contributed to the war campaigns like no other, and were very distinguished and decorated in a distinguishing manner. And when it came to the Second World War, then they really noticed that and they really used that to our advantage to go to war.
Brian, I wonder, we've got about 30 seconds left. If you can tell us a bit about the challenges post-war for members of the Métis Nation and other Indigenous fighters.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the thing about in the service, when you're going to war, you're going into theater, you're working side by side with your brothers or your sisters, and as long as everybody's doing their job and everybody's working together, then there's that tremendous respect with each other and tremendous caring for each other and tremendous work. But when our veterans came home, they did not receive the same benefits that other veterans received. They didn't receive a land allotments for some farming. They didn't receive any kind of tuition help to go back and get some education. They didn't even receive some health or medical attention that they might have needed. And so that was really a real big problem. And then it really marginalized a lot of our Métis veterans. But two years ago, Prime Minister Trudeau offered a apology to Métis World War II veterans for that mistreatment. And when we were out awarding that letter to our World War II veterans, they really took that to heart. That was something that really meant something to them. And it was a great deal to be able to be part of that, to award that to them. So it was a great start, but you know, there's still our Korean War veterans that went through that same treatment, and that needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for highlighting the contributions and the existing challenges that Indigenous veterans still face. Brian Black, veteran of the Canadian Navy and Métis Nation of Ontario, Director of Self-Government and Strategy.
Brian, thank you so much.